This is all about startups and then how do we scale the startup. That's what I'm going to talk about. So before that, maybe let me also start with a story. So maybe in 2019, I went to Palakkad to see a film shooting. And while driving back home, I thought, okay, why don't I produce a movie? It's actually cool, fun. The whole vibe in the situation, I mean, the location, it was all good. So why don't I try one, right? Then 2021, I executed that idea. It took about 2 years for me to execute that idea of producing a movie. And 2022, it got released. And the biggest part is that the same hall, 2 years back, almost same time, in March 20th, I did a success meet of my movie here in this same floor 2 years back. So it's maybe a... Can you switch it on? I'm in the PPT. Yeah, so this was that incident where this was my press meet here, the same floor 2 years back. So the whole idea to execution for me, this movie took about 2 years. But these were my other ideas in the past. I wanted to build a BPO, I want to build a movie ticket booking app, I want to build a bus ticket booking app. So these all ideas were billion-dollar ideas. It died the very next day because it was all in my mind and brain. So it never executed. So it was all my idea, my friends and myself, we all talked about a lot. Okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. And the very next day, we all forget, and then we get back to our normal life, right? So I'm sure that all of you here would have different ideas. You must be talking every day, when the students or when your friends gathering, so you'll be talking about all these ideas. And the very next day, you don't execute it, and then it dies there. So these were the ideas, all billion-dollar, million-dollar ideas. It dies like that. So that's where... What should I do next, right? So every time I was, talking about all these ideas, and the very next day it dies down. So in 2009, I thought, okay, let me do something, right? So let me just do it, okay? So that's what the slide or the Nike tagline says, just do it. So that's where, my first idea, it took about 9 years for me to execute. So after my engineering in 2000, so I took about 9 years what to do. And then in 2009, I started my first company. And it was on mobile application development. And that was my first company. And then the whole idea or my effort, everything took about 9 years to get into the real execution mode. That's where my real startup journey started. Okay, so for you all, it's going to be the similar situation. So you might have hundreds of ideas, thousands of ideas. Some of them might be, you will be seeing someone else is executing it, someone else is doing it. So, but whoever is, I'm sure that all of you would have ideas, but whoever is the guy who is running the idea or executing the idea is the hero, or he'll take his dreams forward, right? So yeah. So here, like I said, my first company took about 9 years to invest. 9 years to start. My second company took only 3 months. I started that company in maybe my movie. It took 2 years to execute it. My second company in tech industry, so it took about 3 months. And my third and fourth company took about only 1 month to execute. So by that time, I realized myself, or maybe my friends, that okay, this is not going to be talking about ideas. That's what actually it matters. The matter is that your execution, right? So that's what actually I want to say, all of you, right? If you have ideas, go ahead, jump on, execute. So else, ideas will remain as ideas. So this is where, when it comes to startup, it's you need co-founders, right? So you might have one, and you also need a complementary skill co-founders. So how do you find the co-founders, right? So typically, I've seen that the co-founders are all friends, or maybe someone you know, or maybe someone you want to be part of. So, but typically, when it comes to your co-founders in any startup, so you have to find the complementary skills, right? You might be very good. So, because I mentor many startups. What I've seen is that all the startups are very good in tech, but they might not have any idea how to sell this, what market works for them, or the sales, marketing. So there are a bunch of other things which they have, which is not there in their founding team, right? So that's where, we have to really literally find a good co-founding team where all of you will be like, complementing each other, right? So not only just in sales or technology or anything, so there are a bunch of other line of business as well in a company running. So yeah, you would have seen this, right? So typically when you see when you want to start a new company or a startup, right? So you have to identify the right problem, right? So what is the right problem? So because many of the problems which you are finding, it may not be a problem at all. So if you look at this, right, it's very innovative. Everything is good, but is it really solving a problem? Then your normal other two tire cycle. The only thing is that this is square and the other one is round, right? But is it really solving? But it's innovative way, right? It's good looking, everything. But except the only thing is that it doesn't require stand. Okay. But apart from that, it's not solving any problem. So typically, when it comes to a startup, so you have to find the right problem in the market or wherever you're trying to solve a problem for your customer, right? If that problem does not exist, or then your startup will also fail over a period of time. So actually, one of the failure story I also have is that in 2018, I had another startup, so which was mainly the accounting software automation, and then it literally did not take off. So because the problem I am trying to solve was not exist, because we were trying to solve an accounting problem which does not exist at all, especially in India. We were trying to sell it in India because the market was also not so right. We would not have tried in India. So the main thing, as a startup, we have to make sure that we are trying to solve a problem which exists, right? You are trying to add more value to your customers. So if you don't find that, don't go behind a startup. So let's better do something else. So when it comes to, you would have heard about, many things have been recently happening on the AI side, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Google Gemini, and whatnot, right? So in the last few months have been like, people are all talking about this, right? So when it comes to the scaling of the startup, right? So typically, right, in any startup, if you look at my first company, the way I scaled up that company was that, we had about 700 people strong, span across India, Europe, US, and Middle East. So the way I did was, I have people, I have a process, and I have technology. So here, my first project in my first company, RapidValue, was that it is $250 project. Okay, just $250 project we picked up, and we royally screwed it up, so we were not able to deliver it. But it's a very small project. From there, we started adding people, and more people coming into the organization. We had to have a process in place to run organization in the right direction and get everyone in the same boat, right? And then the technology, which was addressing many problems which we have. So these were the typical way of running or scaling up an organization. But when it comes to now, right, if you look at the OpenAI, so they got $1 million customers in 4 days. The Facebook took about a year to get $1 million customer, right? So like that, the way the AI and the technology at this era is going to solve, or the way it is evolving is too fast. And currently, this is a traditional approach where how do you scale a startup? So now, if you look at it, so you have to innovate every day, right? You have to, you can't get into market, with a traditional approach. You have to have like, AI powering everything. So for example, if you look at Swiggy or Zomato, which I am sure that most of you would have been the subscribers of that, right? If I am doing it Swiggy right now, I might say that drone delivery. Okay, when I open my app, it will say that, okay, I know that you want a parota and beef, right? So I'll order it by myself. You just press a button, and then drone will deliver to you in 50 minutes. So that opportunity still exists if you can solve it. So you might be one person who will be like doing that, right? So the traditional way of problem solving, everything is like, it's an end of that era. So now, like, how much innovation you can bring into the world, or how you can disrupt the way we all live nowadays. That is the only way you can get into the bigger world of, startup. So if you look at this one, like, the Chundan Vallams, so we have the next thing on the startup side, right, where if you look at when the company grows, you will have a more and more team members coming into your company, and then the thing is that you have to, they'll all have to work hard, and as a leader, which you can see on the other side, where, they are the people who will be really controlling the boat, which direction it goes, and you are the leadership team. So you have the team, and everyone should row in the same direction, then only it goes in the straight line or wherever is your, destination is. Else what will happen is that, you have maybe some of the team members, will be driving, rowing on a different direction, how it's going to be, right? And the leaders, like you guys, you are running the startup, so we'll be riding or, guiding the team how to ride fast, how to row fast, and what's the direction you need to go. So this is another aspect, which maybe you would have heard about. This is like, day one, right? So what does it mean by day one, right? Everything we talk about, if you look at a company, right? So company, or, you yourself joining a company. So the first day, like, you want to prove yourself. Okay, how do I prove myself in this company? Because, everyone, I wanted to be a hero here, right? So you do that on a day one, or the joining day, or maybe the second day onwards, that your enthu will go down, right? So if you are running a startup, so the culture you want to build in any startup is that it has to have a day one startup or day one culture, which basically everything is customer focused. You have to innovate every day. You have to hard work. You have to, like, experiment. So that's what actually you do on the day one, right? Or in your startup, you try to experiment more and more. So you want to fail fast, right? If you want to try something new or something innovation, so these all comes with the risk of failure. So that risk of failure you have to take every day. Then only your startup will scale. And there's another terminology like this, day two company, where everything is slow. If you look at in the world itself, you would have seen many companies. They were pretty big when you were young, and now that company does not exist, right? It's all because, we say that, they slow in, decision making, innovation, and whatnot, right? So they were slowing in everything, right? And they are not ready to do experiments. So those are the things, as a startup founder or a startup people, which, all of you would like to be a part of. So these are the things, where we need to be literally care about, when you get into a startup, and how do you scale it. So this is maybe the last slide of mine, where, so like I said, when you go back to my previous slides, right, where you talk about ideas, you have an idea, one idea, second idea, third idea, but finally you'll take up a job somewhere and do the job. Right? That's what, most of us would have done it, including me. So college time, I also wanted to start something, but what I did was, I took up a job, and then I started doing that job. And while doing the job, I was keep talking about ideas, but it never took me anywhere. So the moment I get into my idea execution, that's where the actual thing started. I was able to give a jobs to maybe 700 people some point in time, especially in our place, Kerala. So we were able to create that kind of a job opportunity. So everything, like, why I am able to stand in front of you guys today. So this all happened because of that. I was, in the idea stage. It's always been the execution stage, where I was able to execute a couple of my ideas. So that's why I'm here. So, and like you said, Steve Jobs, we are here to create a dent in the universe, right? People should remember you. People actually should admire you for what you are, or what you have been doing, right? So that's why, I'm saying that we'll have to get out of our comfort zone and then do something or execute your idea. You're all are smart people, and so the ecosystem which we have here, we'll be able to help you guys out as well.